Hey guys, we are talking about gringos today. It's a very controversial word, but it doesn't have to be, and we're going to tell you why.
Let's get into it.
It's Paul and Natasha with Nomadic-AF. Today we are talking about a really heavy word, gringo, and what it means, because it's probably not what you think it means.
Right, and we're also going to dispel some myths about where this word came from.
Yeah.
So let's go clear all this up so when you come down here, you're not offended when you hear the word.
Yep.
Let's check it. So let's get this out of the way right now.
We're gringos.
Gringos, gringo, gringa, okay? We're white Americans. We live in Latin America. Our Spanish is acceptable, but pretty much shit, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, we
conversational.
get by. Yeah. All right. So we're gringos, right? And a lot of people, though, especially like Canadians or maybe even Europeans, don't think this word applies to them. But it really depends on where you're at and who's saying it. And another problem is they think it's some kind of slur.
Yeah.
And it's really not. It's more like, someone from New Zealand being called a Kiwi, you know?
Yeah, it really depends on the context as well.
Right. If you hear pinche gringo, that's a slur. But
Yeah.
just being called a gringo, it can apply to anybody depending on the country you're in. So let's find out who's a gringo, who's not, and what this term means. And we're going to dispel a huge myth later about why people think Americans are called gringos.
Yeah, it ain't true. So the core misunderstanding for a lot of Canadians and Europeans, basically non-Americans, will say this term does not mean me. But we have lived all over Latin America, and we know that many Latinos do call Canadians, Australians, Europeans, black and brown foreigners as well, gringo and gringa. It's not just Americans.
Right. Depending on where you're at, which Latin country you're in, gringo or gringa could mean anything. It could mean an obvious foreigner. It could mean a blonde-haired person. It could be a white person, an English speaker, and sometimes even Latinos from different countries, or just white Americans like us. It just doesn't matter. It just depends on where you're at. Anybody can be a gringo, and don't be offended if somebody calls you one.
Yeah, it's a very flexible term.
It really is.
Let's look at a few examples from Latinos on Reddit.
Right.
Okay, so this person says, here in Brazil, gringo is used for foreigners in general. It's not about Americans or Canadians.
And then here we got two Brazilians arguing about what the gringo means. So right here, this guy says, at least in Brazil, the word gringo is meant only for Americans. And then this Ultra Garen says, gringo from Brazil says gringo is for any foreigner. Even people from Argentina are gringos.
So another example here from Reddit in Mexico, it says Mexico, it's a U.S. citizen. Despite popular belief, it does not mean white. It's any U.S. citizen. We don't care if you're white, brown, black, or anything. If you're from the U.S., you're a gringo.
All right, so as you can see, it really just depends on the country that the Latino or Latina is in and who they're talking about. So even in Brazil, they can't agree on who a gringo is. It's either a white American or anybody who is not Brazilian.
Yeah, and if Latinos can't decide, maybe you shouldn't be deciding for them.
Yeah, don't be so worried about it. If you're called a gringo, there's no sense arguing about it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's not a slur.
Yeah.
All right, so even Latinos will agree that it's not a slur. Again, it's just like calling somebody a Brit or a Scotsman or a Kiwi.
Yeah.
So let's still get a few examples on Reddit for some Latinos.
So in Peru, they say, no, it's not derogatory. At least here in Peru, it's used normally, like saying that foreigner or that tourist.
Right, and in Venezuela, this person says, yeah, I don't think it's offensive unless you say it with attitude, with like a lot of words.
Yeah, and again, in Mexico, they say it's just a label. They've never used it to insult someone.
Right, so, yeah, I mean, you might be strange for you to leave America or to leave Canada and to have someone call you a word like gringo, but it's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just a way to label somebody who isn't from here.
Yeah.
We've been traveling Latin America for 13 years straight, right?
Yeah.
So we started in Nicaragua, and Gringo was used there quite a lot, and we worked at a surf resort. So
Yeah.
the staff would always say, that table of gringos, those gringos. It could be a mixed table of Canadians and Europeans. It
Yeah.
didn't matter. It was never a bad thing.
It's just casual.
Right. Once in 13 years, we got called pinche gringos, and that was sitting on the street at a cafe in Mexico City. And
yeah, it was just a drive-by.
just
Pinche gringos!
yeah. And the best thing was, all the Mexicans sitting around us and with us,
Yeah.
they apologized. They felt
They were
very
like,
bad,
oh, I'm
but
so sorry.
it was whatever. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, so you might be a gringo, and that's totally okay. If you're clearly not local, people might call you a gringo. That doesn't mean they're insulting you.
Right, and a lot of this we see, the people who feel so insulted are like the snowbirds, right? The Canadians and
Yeah.
Americans who have retired and moved down here, and when a server or a bartender refers to them as gringos, they get quite
They get
upset,
angry,
really for no
yeah.
reason, and it's just a flexible word used to mean a foreigner.
Yep.
That's it. There's nothing else.
Context, tone, and culture. It just
Right.
it's a mixing pot.
So anybody can be called a gringo, right? If you're not from a place, and if you're a different color, different hair color, speak a different language, you're probably a gringo. Now, where did this word come from? We're going to dispel this huge, stupid myth that we hear so often, and that is, it means green go. Like during the Mexican-U.S. war, where they were saying, if you were wearing a green uniform, you had to go.
Yeah.
And that's the big theory amongst Canadians, is it only means Americans because they were in war with Americans who wore green uniforms.
But they didn't.
But they didn't.
They wore blue uniforms.
They wore blue uniforms during the Mexican-U.S. war, and they didn't have green uniforms for dozens of years later.
I'm pretty sure Mexicans aren't colorblind.
No. So this whole green go thing where they're wearing green uniforms, they don't want them out, that's the stupidest damn myth there is. It has no basis in reality whatsoever. So the word gringo predates the Mexican-American War by like 60 years. It was first in a 1768 Spanish dictionary, and it just referred to foreigners who speak Spanish poorly, especially like Europeans like English Europeans, Irish, English, Scottish, from that area that come down into Spain and can't speak the language. It means more like Grego, which is Greek. Like it's all Greek to me. Like their language is Greek to me.
It's all Greek to me.
So Grego, Greek means is where gringo came from, and it's just a cultural word used to describe somebody who didn't speak the language well, which it still is used as such.
It's not about race. It's not about diminishing anybody. It's not about Americans. It's just a language culture thing.
It's just a word that they use.
Yep.
Relax. It's fine.
Chill out.
Some myths about where this gringo word came from, and we also hope that when you come down here and you hear somebody referring to you as such, you don't get all offended and butthurt about it, because they really don't mean anything. It's just a way to say that person.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting topic for us. So if you have any stories about people calling you a gringo, good or bad, let us know in the comments, because I love hearing this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And also, if you are a Latino, tell us what you think a gringo means to you, because again, we want to know.
We already know it's us, so you don't have to say that.
Yeah,
we know that.
We know that. All right, guys, so be sure to like, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see ya.
Like.